Hello, how are you? My name is Mahid Barak and I welcome you to our 8th video of learning how to make web applications using Flutter. In the previous video, we were able to look at form builder and different fields of form builder. So today we're going to proceed from where I was stopped in the previous video, and we're going to look at form validators, how we can validate form using the form builder package. So, all right, without wasting much time, let's go straight to our business as always do. Always do 40 minutes, and you can see our counter I've started counting. So let's go straight to the business. So this is the project that we used yesterday, and I hope you have been following. So if I come here to our project, you'll see my files are here. And this is the file that we were using yesterday to work with. So today we're going to see how we can validate different fields of the form builder, because validation is very important. So let us go ahead and learn and see how we can validate our forms. So first place, you'll have to add the validator. So to add the validator, the form builder validator is an external package, so you also have to add it. So after adding the form builder validator, the form builder itself, then the second thing that we need to add to your pubspec.yaml is the form builder validator. Before there used to be one, but because the second one became heavy and some people didn't use it, so they had to separate them and they became two. So we're going to see how we can download the form builder validator, so you can be able to validate different fields in our form. So to do that, you'll just simply come and open your Google search and search for form builder validator, or you can search for Flutter Form Builder validator. So the search result will come as the first search result, I hope, will be this one, form builder validators, this one. So go ahead and open it. So this is the validator, okay? This is the validator, okay? Form builder validator. So what we're going to do, we are going to add it into our project. So before we come here to installing part, and then you can either directly add it to pubspec.yaml, or you can just simply run a command. So the other time we're using this to add a dependency, but right now we're going just to use this command, okay? So both of them, they work. So I'll go ahead and open my terminal here. I'm using different user interface for Android Studio, but yours can also be different, but you have to find a way how you get the terminal, or you can access the terminal. The terminal will always be there, either in bottom or here. So I'm going to run make sure that I'm in the right folder that I'm using to learn, or that's where my project is. And then I go ahead and add, I copy this Flutter pubspec add form builder validators. I copy it as it is, and then I come and paste it here, and then I press enter. Wait, I've done a mistake. Right, this one, okay, that is it. Then I press enter. So you'll have to wait for it to finish processing, and then after processing, it will be able to do what? To add that package into your pubspec.yaml or into your project, so you can start making use of it. So you may first wait, it may take a minute, so let us wait. All right, it has finished adding the validators. So if you come to, I can collapse this terminal. Let me collapse it. So if you come to your pubspec.yaml, you should be able to do what? To see this package added into your project. Okay, this one. So I'll come back to our project, to our file, and then I'm going to create I'm going to add a home. On home here, I'm going to add another option for form validators, so you can be able to do what? To validate the forms. Okay, so let's go ahead and add it. So I'll copy, for example, this 7th one, and then I paste it, and I go ahead and name it as number 9, and I call it form validator, form validator screen, or you can call it page, you can call it a screen. So I press enter. After pressing enter, I'll come and make sure that I'm in this file number 9, and then I come and rename this class. Okay, so I can press, I can come here and rename it as form validator screen, and then I come and name this one too. So they have added it. Then I can come here and change this one title to form validators. How are going to demonstrate from. Then after doing that, the next thing we're going to add it on our main menu. So to add to our main menu, come to our home, and then come to home, and then go ahead and change this one. And then change this one. Then I save. Now when you click on form, now you'll be able to see here form validator. I can change maybe the icon. I can call this one. So after doing that, so I should be able to click on form validator, and then I should be taken to the validation screen. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so now let me go ahead and open this validation screen. So there is nothing but a form builder with a key, and then the form field, text field with just a name. So I can go ahead maybe and give it a decoration and give it a label of what? Of name, like that. So when I save, I should be able to do what? To see that. So alright, so let us go ahead and now see the different things that we have on our form builder validation and how we can make good of it. So I'll come here and then come to example where there's readme. So here in readme is where you'll find the explanation of how you can make use of what? Of this form validator. Okay, so form validator set validators. Form builder validators set of set of validators for form builder package. Okay, provide validators and a way to make your own. So it provides its own validators and also a way how you can make your own validations. Okay. So here they give you introduction, and then here you have features, things that it can use. Okay, this package comes with several what? Common validators, such as it can help you to validate whether an input is a numeric, can help you to validate an email, can help you to validate a URL, can help you to validate a minimum and maximum, minimum length, maximum length, minimum word counts and maximum word counts. an IP address, and credit card, etc. So it has a variety of things that it can validate, okay, with default of error text message. So by default it will send the what? The error text message. So these are available validators that it provides, okay, for it itself. And then you can also use it to design your own custom validations. So we can look at these validators so we get to know the validator that it can do. It can check if input figure is a credit card or not. It can check a date, whether an input field, an input value is a date or not. It can check for emails. It can check if something is equal to something. It can check if it is if something is an integer. It can check if an item is an IP. It can check and require fields with a regex pattern, and it can also check the maximum value, whether it's a maximum or minimum. It can check the maximum length. It can check the maximum number of words. It can check the minimum number of words. It can check the minimum length. It can check the minimum number of word count. It can check the length. It can check the numeric and even the URL, and it can also make a field to be required or not. So that is what? That is the form builder, validator. So we're going to look at the most important ones and how can make use of it, okay? So these are the supported languages that it supports. Of course, for us, we're going to focus on what? On English. Then here, they'll show us how we can set the languages if we want to. And then here is the basic usage of how we can make it use, okay? For example, if we are here correcting a name and then maybe a name is required, so we can make it like validators and then put name requires, and then we can put here the mode. For example, when someone leaves, how do you want it to validate, okay? So we can either maybe make it automatic or not. So let's go ahead and see how we can make this use of these validators, okay? And then this is the form view builder validator, and then here you can also try to check how we can compose like multiple validations and attach them. All right, we're going to come to this side and see how we can make use of it, okay? So now let us go ahead and see how we can make the validation. For example, this is the name, and maybe let's say you're collecting a name and phone number of a person. So let's go ahead and put here, this is the field that we already have. Remember, it's just a form builder which has a key, and then form builder, inside it we have the form builder what? Text field, and so I can go ahead and create a second one. Let's say that so I'll surround the column. So surrounding the column, you can simply move your mouse here and press Alt and Enter, and then say column. It will automatically surround that one with column. So I can duplicate this thing and give it another thing. Let's say maybe contact. Let's say phone number, and then come here and the label and give it phone number like this. So it will be able to do what? To collect the phone number. Now we can go ahead and start validating. So let's use this very basic validation. Let's say that the phone number is required. First of all, you can first set the mode of validation. Here is the validation mode, okay? So if you come here and put this field inside the form builder, is the auto validate mode, okay? So you can set it to always, and then there are other options here. When you press end, full stop, and when you press a dot and wait, to show you the possible validation modes that you can have. We have disabled if you want to disable it, and also have always, okay? And you can have also user interaction. So if you make it always, so now after doing that, then you're going to put our own validation. Now what do we need to validate? For example, if we want a name to be required, okay? If we want a name to be required, what do? we just simply pass this if we just simply pass validator, and then we pass the form builder validator, and then puts the what you need. So you just simply say, you come here and say validator and then say form builder validators. Okay, so you can import it by press Alt and Enter. Here I've imported it, and then you come here at the end of it and then put a dot to see the possible thing that you can have. So I can say maybe required. Okay, so by doing like that, it will make this form field this name, first name, to be required. So if I go ahead and I click on this name, and when I leave it, just still loading. So let me come again. So that is the validator for you. So you see here, the name is required. So it is showing the red. This field cannot be empty. Let me show you also, maybe let us also put here and say it is required. So I've made also the phone number required. So let me come back and so when I open, so see the fields are all in red color. They are warning. Okay, so it is trying to validate them automatically. So that is and they are showing red color. So that is the mode that we use. Like if it should always validate even before someone starts entering something. That's what the mode that we use. So there's another one called on user interaction. So until the user interacts with it, that's when maybe you can validate and see if the condition is true or not. So if I save and then I come back here, so when I open validators, so you see it is not validating right now. So when I open, but when I leave it, when we leave it, we'll have to trigger the the validation and see if it is validating or not. Whether it's whether the value is validated or not. So all of them they are good, but the most used one is to validate when you really want to do to do validation. So now we're going to put here our button. So like we should only validate when you want to do when you want to validate. We want to submit the user. Okay. So let's go ahead and put the submit button. This thing is suggest for me some things. So this is a simple form that I've just designed with this Copilot. So I'm going to explain everything, so don't worry. So assume that it's just a simple registration form. We're collecting the name, the phone number, the email, password, and confirm password, and then you submit. Let's assume that's just a simple form that we're going to collect like that. So we want to run the validation, okay? So we want when you click on submit, we should validate and see if what you're trying to submit is true or false. That's what we want to do. Like when you click on submit here, we should validate. Okay, so let me show what I've done here. This is email. I'm going to explain what is meant by compose, the validators, and then here we're having password, and here I have confirm password. Let me remove, for example, this confirm. Okay, confirm password, and then here we have our buttons, which is you have one for submitting, another one for what? For resetting. So now here we want, like when someone clicks on validate, we want to check if we want to validate. Okay, I mean when someone clicks on submit, we want to do what? To validate. So to do that, you can just simply say if, and then you put underscore, you put a what? You put our form key. Remember this form has a what? This form has a key, if you still remember this global key. So you can say put if, then put that form global key, and then put dot what? Dot current state. And then you put dot so this is the one that will trigger the validation. So you see when I click on the submit, it is trying to trigger the what? The validation. So how are we triggering the validation? We say form key dot current state, and then you put a exclamation mark because it can be null, and then you put dot what? Dot validate. So if it is successfully validated, it will execute this the one inside here. So if it is not successfully validated, it will do what? It will return a false. So I can go ahead and put, for example, if not, so if I say if it fails to validate, I should not allow the person to proceed. So I can say maybe I want to print and say failed. Okay, and then I return from here. Let me use toast. I had here some toast. So I'm validating at this point and see if this form is valid or not, according to the rules that we'll have supplied with it. And then come and say failed, and then I return. So else I can say success here. So that means that everything is what is all right. So let me explain this. Here I'm trying to click on the submit button, and then I try to see if I put a note, if this form is not validated, if this form is not valid, I show it has failed, and then I return. So if it is valid, I just show success, and then maybe I can proceed with other things. So if I come here and click on submit, you'll see it has done what? It has failed. So let us go ahead and put this form into the scrollable view so it can be able to do what? To fit in this screen properly. So to do that, I'll just come here in this column. I'll just surround it with the what? With the widget, and then put here scrollable. single scroll view, single child scroll view like this. So this form should be scrollable. So now if we come here to validators, if I try to submit, you'll see it will give me a warning that my form was not submitted successfully, or it was not validated. All right. So now if I want to put here, how did it validate this one, the first name? It validated this first name because we said here in the first name we put a validator and said it's what? It is required. Okay. So it had to do what? To limit it to that first name and say this field is what? Is required. So if you want to change the message, okay, let's say that you want to change the error here, you want to change it to something else, you can as well pass it inside between there, inside required, and then put the error text and then write your own message there. For example, please enter your name, something like that. Okay, so if you do like this, it will be able to enter your own what? Your own custom what? Your own custom message. So if I go ahead and save and then I try to submit, you'll see that the message has changed apart from the default what? From the default message. So it means that you can also compose and enter your own error message, just in case the field is not valid, the message that you want to be displayed. So this is why you do what? You read from and how you can enter it. So all right, now another thing is what if you have multiple rules? So you see, if I can come here and I put maybe my full name and then I say yes. So when I try to validate, now you'll see it will not show what? An error. So that's the whole point of what? Of validation. So it will help you not to allow people to do wrong things. Okay. So now we can go ahead and say maybe we want a name to be maybe having at least 3 letters. For example, if I put just like M only, and then I say save and then I submit, you'll see that it has accepted this M only because we just said as long as there's something in the field. But someone cannot have a name with 1 letter, or someone cannot have a name with 2 letters, or for any reasons, like you want to validate something. So you can put again your multiple conditions. Okay. But if you see here, this validation was allowing only what? One word, only one one rule. So, but there is another one where you can compose your validations. You can compose, let's say that maybe we say a name must be there, and maybe like at least there must be 3 letters of a name. So those are like 2 rules on the same field. So there you have to compose those validations. So to compose validations, you just simply use the same thing, and then I'll come here and grab this, and then you put dot compose. So dot compose will allow you to pass multiple validations. So open bracket, square bracket, and then start putting there your validations. Just like the one that I put there, but I just simply add it there like this. Okay. So you see validator, just like the one we used that before, and then put dot required, and then you can pass your own error text. So if you have another validation rule that you want to add, you can go ahead and press your enter and add it there as well. Let's say that maybe a name must have a minimum length, as we discussed, like we looked at something called minimum length, that must have a minimum length of 3 digits. So you'll see I can go ahead and put 3 digits there. So you just simply say validators.min length. So these are the methods that were elaborated here. So you have to come here and look at the possible methods that you can use. You can check if something is a date, if something is an email, if something is is equal, if something is an integer. All these things you can do you can be able to do to check them. So I'm going to show you a few, and then the rest will come and do and practice them by your own. Okay, so the other one that you're looking at is the minimum length. So you see, I can say maybe it should have a minimum length of 3 letters. So what does it mean? It means that if someone tries to submit this form, which has less than 1 letter, it will not accept that. So if I come here and submit, so the first rule will be executed, and they'll tell me to enter at least my name. So if I go ahead and put my name as N, and then I say okay, and then I try to submit again, they validate, you will see a rule will say that you must do what? You must put, your name must have at least what? Must have at least three characters. So if I come here and put junior like this, you'll see that the error will disappear. So that is how you validate by the size of what of the character. By the length of a field. Okay, so you can as well, let's say maybe you want like a name should not be more than maybe 10 letters or something like that, or a name should not be more than a certain number of letters. You can just simply put again form builder validators dot max length. Okay, so there is max and max length, don't confuse the two. So I can go ahead and put here maybe max length is 20, so maybe we should not allow someone who has a name that is more than 20, and I save. So when I save, and I try to submit, of course it will show me that my name is what? The name is too short. The name is required. And I try to submit again. The name is now okay. So if I try to put things that are more than 20 characters, you'll see that it will warn me, and then they say that a name must be at least having maximum of what? Of 20 characters. Okay, so as I told you, you can go ahead and pass your own custom error that you want. For example, you can say here, let's say that you're writing in different language, you can write your own language as error text here. Just add another field called error text. You can write here your own write here your own sentence. Like this, okay? So you can write your own your own error text. So like that, okay? So now more things. You can check if a field is an email or not. So if you want to check if a value is an email or not, you just simply put like the way we've done form. You put compose. You compose the validations, and then you put email. Okay, form builder dot email. So here it will make sure that the input that is input here is an email. For example, if I come here and put something like this, you'll see it will say they require what? An email. So if I put at, still it will ask me to that they require an email, but if I put a format of an email, it will do what? It will go ahead and accept. So if I try to put a wrong format of an email, for example, dot after a .com, it will do what? It will not accept. See? Like an email cannot end with what? With a dot. Something like that. So that is the validation of what? Of an email, and I hope you can see it there. It is very much more clear. You just simply put .compose to whatever fields that you want, and then you call, then you open a square bracket, and inside square bracket, you put your validations that you want. It is very simple. Just go ahead and try it, and you'll see it is really simple and straightforward. So you come and check out, like, you can check if the value, if an input is a credit card or not. Go ahead and check if the input thing is a date or not. So you can create multiple inputs as you're practicing, and try to validate them. Is it a phone number? You can write your own rule, like phone number should be up to this number of maximum. Or so we have then email. This will validate an email. This will have equal. It will make sure that a certain thing is equal to what you want to specify. And then here we have integer. So this one will make sure that whatever is put inside is an integer. So if a user doesn't put an integer inside the field, the form validator will give what? Will give an error. And then I've shown you how you can stop it to proceed if you don't have an error. I mean, if it has an error. You can validate and check if the input is an IP or not. You can validate and with your own pattern, okay? You can also validate with what? With the maximum number, okay? So let's say that you want an input to be like at least a certain maximum number of values. So you can use what? You can use .max. And then you have maximum length, okay? So this maximum length, we have already looked at it. And then you can also validate words, okay? Words count. For example, if we ask someone to enter their full name here, okay? And say enter full name, you see? Let's say maybe we want here full name, something like that. So full name, at least there should be 2 words, because no, a person cannot have one name. A person is expected to have at least 2 words. That I mean 2 names that are separated with space. So you can go ahead and put here. You compose your rules. So the first rule is it is required. Second rule, it should be maybe let's maybe put here full name. The second rule, it should be at least 3 letters. Oh, now since there are 2 names, maybe we can say maybe at least 6 letters. So I mean 6 characters. So the third rule is the maximum maybe they can be maybe 40 characters. So if you join 2 names, they should not pass even 50 characters. And then the another rule, you can put like another rule and say maximum, I mean validator max words. So here in max words, you can pass the number of words that you need. Okay, so you can put 2. Let's say maybe 3 names. Someone cannot have maybe more than 3 names. Then you can go ahead and put, I hope, min words is also there, minimum number of words, and then you go ahead and say maybe 2. So at least someone should put 2 words to have a name. So you can do that to check if someone has put a valid full name or not. So if I press submit, this rule will be implemented, the first one, and they will tell me to enter my name. And then again, if I try to submit, it will ask me that at least 3 characters. So here is supposed to be 6. Okay, so I can go ahead and put, let's say, more than 6 characters, and see if this rule will pass it, but without putting space. So I can go ahead and put, so these are more than 6 characters, but if I try to submit, you'll see it will bring a what? Another word. I mean another what? Another condition. This third one, this second one, and it's telling us that at least there should be what? There should be 3 characters. I mean there should be at least 2 words. So if I go ahead and put a space there, and then I try to submit, then I'll be what? I'll be successful because I've reached all the what? All the conditions. So if I try to make it 3 words, there it's still okay because the maximum number of words, the maximum number of word count is what? Is 3. So if I try to submit, everything is okay. So if I try to add the 4th word, you'll see it will not accept it to tell me that at least there should be a maximum of 3 words. We should not go beyond what? Beyond 3 words. So that is the beauty of what? Of validators. So instead of writing your own logic, you can use this one to simplify that. So you can check also the minimum length. We have already looked at that. You can check the minimum number of words. We have already looked at that. You can check if the length is equally to whatever you want. You can also validate and see whether it is numeric, the value that has been entered or not. Let's say that you want to check, you want to say that a name should not be what? Should not be numeric. So you can go ahead and put this what? This validator. So I have another validator and say required, and you can also validate if an input is a URL or if your input is it's a link or not. So also challenge yourself and see if you can validate if someone has put a correct email. Okay? So if you have your own policy of say maybe a password should have at least a numeric figure, and maybe a password should be maybe at least 6 letters and above, you can also try to go ahead and challenge yourself. Otherwise, these are the validators that are available for you, and you can come and play with them, all of them, to see that you understand them, so you can be able to start implementing them in your in your projects. So that makes our today's video. I hope you're watching as you are practicing, because watching alone cannot be really enough. So we'll meet in the next video where we're going to look at state management and how to make dynamic lists. So I hope you'll not miss. Make sure that you be there so we can see how we make much more sense of these things that we are learning. So all right, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and put that notification bell, so when we upload the next video, you're there and you don't miss anything. We'll also share this source code on GitHub, so you can be able to do what? To be on the same page with us. So goodbye and see you in the next class. We're going to look at the state management. So don't miss.